kitchen, Juanita, well. Nikki's kitchen, yeah. Nikki's kitchen, Juanita, well. Nikki's kitchen, well. Yeah. Welcome to Nikki's Kitchen another time. So today I will be showing you how I prep my seasoning for all my meat. So I'm starting with cutting up all my vegetables. I'm slicing some carrots right now. And if you can see in the background, I did some green onions. In Jamaica they call it escallion. There you go. And now I'm going to be dicing up some potatoes. So the machine I'm using is a food processor. And what I'm going to be doing with that is just blend chop up all my seasonings. So I'm doing red onions, but you can do any kind of onion you like. And if you notice, I'm not using any measurements. So just to run through quickly, you missed some things. I cut up some bell pepper, some green onions, I also cut up some Scotch bonnet pepper. I have some tomatoes, and I have those thyme. So I set those aside for a reason. You're gonna see what I'm going to do with them later on in the video. So while I finish dicing up my potatoes, I continue to do my onions. So I'm just right, so there I'm going to do my bell pepper. I do all the colors: green, yellow, orange, red. I'm using the food processor because I'm doing a bulk marinade seasoning that I'll be using for all my meat. So I'm actually prepping for my all-purpose chicken. By that I mean I can fry the chicken, I can stew it, I can curry it. Also, I'm going to be using it for my pork or any other meat, beef. I also use it for fish. So there I'm doing my regular onions, along with my tomatoes and my thyme. Now I'm adding the powder seasoning. So you can use any type of powder seasoning to your desire. What I just put in is an all-purpose meat seasoning. You can get that anywhere in the store. I'm adding my garlic. Pay attention to the amount I'm using. You can follow exactly. Just judge the amount based on what you're seeing, because I'm not going to write it. I don't measure. So I'm putting parsley in there, my paprika. I'll probably pronounce it paprika. And I'm blending it all up together. I also have some jerk seasoning, some garlic seasoning, just about all the type of seasoning that you use in your kitchen, you can add them to that mix. So now I'm adding my ketchup. And I'm adding my sauce. Of course, my Jamaican pickled pepper. And browning. So I'm adding more powder seasoning. Those are all just all-purpose seasoning. More parsley. And that's pimento seed. Now I ground it, like I crushed the pimento, and now I'm adding basil. And oregano. I'll try to write the in the description below the names of what I use, so you have an idea if you've never cooked before. So now that I blend all my seasoning, I separate some to make curry, just for curry, because I'll be doing some curry chicken, which is what I will be ending with this video, just to show you how I use my complete seasoning. You can taste it just to make sure that it's desirable to your taste. And we never forget to wash our hands. I wear gloves, and right through the process also wear a mask, just to protect myself from the powders, the seasoning, the chemicals and stuff in it, or getting in my sinuses. And if you notice, the ones that are not blend up, those that I just cut up and put aside, those will be using for different purposes. Here I'm bagging a little bit of each. So I have onion, I have bell pepper, tomato, carrot, thyme, and Scotch bonnet pepper in the bag. And I do several of them to freeze them. So that's what I'm going to do with this bag. I'm going to freeze these, and also I put some tomatoes in them as well. Tomatoes on the other side. What I'll be using these for is to cook down my meat. I'm using freezer bags for them. You can get those in the supermarket, or if you have a Costco near to you. Not promoting them, but yeah, that's where I got mine. You're probably wondering, how much do I put in a bag? So it depends on how much meat you're cooking. For example, I'm probably cooking 1.5 pounds chicken, or you know, for we either stew chicken or curry chicken, and just a little handful, not a full hand, but just a little drop of everything in each bag to cook it down. I even find that what I put in the bags was really too much for each of my meat. So what I've been doing is just using a small amount from the bag. So one bag is now doing me for 2 meals, or 2 bags of meat that I packed. And you're going to see that in a bit. So all of what I'm doing, it saved me time to prepare meals after work in the evening. So now this is how I prep my meat. I went to the store, get them immediately, chop them up, and start prepping them for the freezer. I usually cook everything, by the way, one time, and then pack them in the small bags, freezer bags, but I'm doing it different this time. Not cooking them. I'm just going to season them, put them in the bags. So first, I those, you can guess, I can stew those, or I can, actually I wasn't even thinking of that, but I still can do that because I have some others that I put for that I can use for fried chicken. So what I'm using those for is curry chicken. So I'm chopping up my meat, and if you have skin on them, it's preferable that you take the skin off the chicken. Kind of leave the skin for the legs. You don't have to do that. I should have taken them off, but I couldn't bother. It really don't matter to me. So to be exact, how much I actually put in the bag, I would say if you're feeding 2, you can just do 1 breast, which 1 piece of breast, and 2 legs. I don't eat the thigh, so I bought the meat in parts. So I just bought legs and breasts. And now we're moving along from the chicken. Now I'm doing pork, because somebody in the house eats pork. So you see, I'm cleaning it up, and the slice of the pork was too thick, so I just cut it in half, clean up the edges, take out those, and just dice it up. Sorry for the tiredness in my voice. I've been working really hard on things, and I also do prayer meetings on Friday night. So I started at like 10 p.m. I never went to bed until minutes to 4 because my girls were having too much fun. And by girls, I mean some young people that is a part of my prayer meeting, and they didn't want me to go. So I was having too much fun. So you notice what I'm doing in my kitchen here. As I go along, I clean up because that's very important. What it does, it gives you an easier space to work with and more room. So each time you're not going to use a certain thing, you just move it aside, clean up, and go to the next level. And why did I allow this in the video? It's not intentional, but I'm still learning how to edit my videos, and I can't find a good platform to do that, to cut things out and stuff. So just let it stay and just speed up the video. And also someone can learn how to operate in the kitchen, because it's very important when you're handling meat. You have to keep everything clean, and also keep washing your hands, even though you notice I use gloves. It's very important practice, because you don't want anyone in your household to get sick for cross contamination of meat and food. So I'm gonna do the curry first. So I'm gonna put just look at what I'm doing. That would be like half cup of marinade that I made. You see all the stuff I put in it. I'm just putting half cup of that to mix in that bag. So as you notice by now, I'm just doing voiceover, because the kitchen, if I allow everything live that was going on coming through the video here, it would be very noisy, because I had the fan on that was sucking out the smell of the seasoning and all that, and that's kind of loud. It's important to have a good circulation of air, fresh air, while you're working with so much seasoning. And that's the balance of my curry marinade that I didn't use, so I make a note of it, and all of that is going into the freezer. Now I'm going to do the regular. Now that is my base meat seasoning that I did. That goes on everything else, and I'm using the same amount. Well, but that was the pork, so that was a smaller. You just use your judgment based on how much meat is in the bag you put. So I think that was like probably quarter cup of marinade. So now I'm doing my all-purpose chicken. That I can use that chicken to either fried chicken or fricassee chicken, regular just stew chicken. I can take out the meat and chop them up when I'm ready to use it to do stew chicken. And this is the main reason why I decided not to cook everything like I usually do, because you want more variety, when you're eating. And if you know, we eat mostly chicken in this house. And there you have it, all set. And that's my leftovers, and I put some in a jar in the fridge for just miscellaneous cooking. When I'm doing nachos or anything, I just put some of that in my ground beef and cook the meat. There you go. So now you're going to see live and direct how I use what you have just seen. So that curry, that's curry in the bag there, curry chicken, and that's my frozen vegetables or seasoning, or you want to call it. And you're going to see me actually cook how I use it in the evenings. So I would take out a bag and make sure that it's defrost. Say about 3-4 hours before you start cooking. But you keep the frozen bag of meat in the freezer. You don't take that out. I only take it out to show you what I'm going to use, and I did put it back in the freezer until I'm ready to use it. So you don't. Remember, you keep the bag of vegetable or seasoning in the freezer. You keep that in the freezer until you're ready to put it in the pot. So I heat the oil. I'm using coconut oil, and I put the meat in the pot. Let it brown. Not brown. You don't want to do it too much, but let it brown and start its process cooking. Take a note on how I'm turning the handle of the temperature. So first I had it on high or medium just to heat it up, and then after I put it in the pot and it start really browning, then I turn it back down to say a 3/4 of a way being low, or say a quarter of a way. How would I say it now? That side is like everybody's stove is different, so turning it down on that handle, the point going down, that would be medium or halfway. And to turn it down low, you just carry it back about say 20 on the low, carrying it back. And to turn it up, I would go 45, or carry it down, you go 20 or 15. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And you keep watching your pot. You don't leave it for too long, like say every 5 minutes you want to check to see what's going on based on how your heat is under your pot. And of course I'm doing other things, emptying the dryer, emptying the dishwasher in the meantime. So this is where, if you've never cooked before, you're not used to being in the kitchen, you can multitask. When you're waiting on the pot, you can do something else in the meantime, but please do not forget your pot You want to check every 5 minutes is good, especially if you're cooking small amounts of meat. You don't want to leave it too long. I believe 5 minutes is even too much. You want to check to see if it's drying out or if it's gonna burn or anything like that. So I turn the stove back to medium heat, which if you have a stove that have 350 or something like that, I think that would be 350. So there are two ways to do this. You don't have to do the browning what I am doing, because I do it different ways at times. You can just put everything that you had in the bag in the pot one time, put some boiling water. That's important. You notice I turn on the kettle. Make it a practice to use either room temperature water to add to your pot or boiling water. Please do not use cold water in your pot on your meat. It changes the temperature of the food and it can change the texture depending on what type of meat you're cooking. So as I was saying, I will put everything sometime in the bag when I'm really busy and I don't have time to keep checking it all the time. I just put everything in the pot, like everything literally. I would first put everything in the bag in the pot that's in the bag in the pot and just let it kind of start really cooking it, and then I'll add the boiling water. Look what I'm doing. I add the boiling water to the bag just to wash it out. And you don't want to leave the bag when you empty the meat into the pot from the bag. Do not leave the bag out. Please put that bag in the fridge. Keep it in the fridge until you're ready to pour it into the pot, like rinse it out. So this is what I would do at the beginning. I'll just put everything in, boil a little boiling water. I put some of the vegetable and I wash out the bag with the boiling water, pour it in there. You see how much hot water I actually put on it, and you let that steam on medium or just a little less than medium. And you can leave that up to say 20 minutes, but make sure if your stove is medium, you want to check it like 15 minutes, in 15 minutes time, because medium can dry it out really fast. But as that everything was frozen in that bag, that will change the temperature. You may want to turn up the stove until you get it where you want it, and then turn it back down to medium or a little less than medium. And you leave it say like for 10 minutes if you have it on medium. If you're gonna turn it down less than medium, say a quarter of the way low, you can leave it for 20 minutes to steam or simmer down, and it will cook really well to the bone. And of course you keep checking, you come back to see if it's where you want it to be. Now if you don't know where you want it to be, you can taste it to see if it tastes right to you. And I have some little Maggie seasoning. You can get that in your grocery store. Some little pockets. That's what I'm going to use in terms of adding any flavor to the pot, like powder seasoning. I'm not gonna add any more of my marinade that I make. I'm just going to be using the pocket Maggie little pocket seasoning. And then I would put some butter, a little butter, like say half a tablespoon of butter. Can't use any butter. And you see how much ketchup I'm using. Yes, I'm using ketchup on curry. It's really good. Just a small amount though, you don't need much. Please do not use a lot. It will change the whole taste of what you're doing. And then it start coming together. So we're almost done. Okay, so you're gonna see me add the little pocket. There goes the Maggie pocket. The little, yeah. Well guys, you try it. Let me know how you make out. And please like, comment, share, and try it as well. Let me know how it turns out for you in the end. Thanks for watching Nikki's Kitchen. That's potato salad I bought at Costco. You can eat it with anything, rice and peas, plain rice, for those who are not familiar.